Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio, brought to you by SEO Samba. Comprehensive high-performing marketing solutions for mature and emerging franchise brands. To supercharge your franchise marketing, go to SEOSamba.com. That's SEOSAMBA.com.
Welcome to Franchise Marketing Radio. Stone Payton Lee Cantor here with you this morning. Today's episode is brought to you in part by the Business Radio X Studio Partner Program, equipping franchisors to help franchisees dominate their local market. To learn more about serving your market and growing your business, go to mybrxstudio.com. Lee, this is going to be a fantastic segment. Please join me in welcoming to the broadcast founder with Baked Cookies and Dough, Mr. Max Berry. Good morning, sir.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
We are doing great. Well, Max, before we get too far into things, tell us about Baked. How are you serving folks?
Yeah, absolutely. So Baked is a dessert store. We're located in the Philadelphia suburbs, and we serve fresh-baked warm cookies and gourmet edible cookie dough. So our cookie dough is egg-free. It's made with heat-treated flour, and you could just kind of eat it with a spoon. We also serve ice cream, so you could have a cookie and ice cream sandwich on a fresh-baked cookie. We call it the Bakedwich. And you can have some dough with some ice cream or a milkshake.
So how did this begin? What was the genesis?
Yeah, so we started in May of 2017 in just our small town of Westchester, Pennsylvania. It's a pretty small town in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and we just kind of saw a need locally for some good fresh-baked cookies. And this was around the time when edible cookie dough was really becoming like, the next cupcake or the next froyo style trend in food. We were actually among the first 3 stores in the country to serve edible cookie dough as an option. And we did it, didn't really think much of it. And when we opened, we had a line out the door, down the block, in the rain, for the whole first day. We sold out of everything that we had, and that continued on for months. And we really thought, wow, this is really something. And we decided to, franchise the concept and roll it out nationwide.
Now, were you pastry chefs? How did you come up with the recipes and know that this?
That's a good question. That's a good question. So I'm actually not a baker by trade. I own a couple other companies. I'm just a serial entrepreneur and saw an opportunity. Obviously, we have a pastry chef that made all the recipes, and she's very talented and comes up with new recipes all the time, pumpkin pie and pumpkin roll and brown sugar maple, things you wouldn't really think of as a cookie dough flavor besides the traditional chocolate chip, salted caramel, Oreo sugar. But yeah, no, I'm actually not a baker by trade.
So, but you thought, hey, this edible cookie dough could be a thing. Let's take a swing at that.
Yeah. And, not to toot my own horn, but yeah, I was right. Now there's multiple edible cookie dough stores in every single state, from basically zero, I guess 1, 3 years ago. And so, yeah, it's just blowing up, and there's stores opening all over the place. Most of them serving just edible cookie dough. I was worried that might be, it's going to take a while, but that might be just a fad.
Right.
So I really built the business around longevity. We have the cookies in there. We do catering. We do ice cream. So it's centered around cookies and edible cookie dough, but I didn't want my franchisees to be in a situation in 3 years where, all they sell is cookie dough, and then it kind of plateaus out.
And that's why you chose the name Baked rather than edible or something edible dough or dough.
Yeah. Yes. So it's called Baked, just baked cookies and dough. Great name. And, we do everything in the cookie and dough kind of, genre.
So now, is the cookies that you bake, are they made from the same edible cookie dough?
Everyone asks that. No, they're not, because, the edible cookie dough that we have is egg free.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have like baking soda in it or anything like that, because it's unnecessary if you're not going to bake it.
Right.
We have a separate recipe for our cookies that are baked and that you eat baked.
Now, you mentioned that you didn't have kind of a baking background. Are the franchisees typically in your shoes? Are they business people looking for an opportunity, or are they all people that are kind of, I always wish I had some bakery or something along those lines?
They can really be both. So our first franchisee is opening a store in Cary, North Carolina, and actually they're opening 2 stores in Cary and then another one in a year in the surrounding area. And they're not bakers by trade, although it's a husband and wife pair, and the wife, she loves baking and she loves that kind of stuff, but no professional background. So you definitely don't need to have culinary experience. You don't need to have even a full-time pastry chef. We teach you and give you the recipes and teach you how to make the dough yourself. It's not hard. I used to have to do it in the beginning when, we were selling out every single day and I didn't have any help. Now, obviously we have help and I don't need to make it anymore, but it can be made by anyone.
Now, before you opened up the store, did you kind of work the festival scene and those events to kind of get the word out about, hey, this is coming, or taste this new thing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So actually, we didn't do any of these like pop-ups and sneak peeks or tastings. We kept the grand opening very close to our chest, and I think that's where it actually helped us a lot. So, we kind of made this mystery about, something sweet is coming to Westchester, warm cookies, edible cookie dough. And it's such a new thing in the country that nobody really knows what it's going to taste like. And everyone's very interested to try it. So when we had our grand opening, we, had developed a list of people that wanted to know when we were opened. We sent them a text at about 3:00 on the day we were opening. And by 4, we had a line, a block long. There's just so much buzz about, edible cookie dough and fresh baked cookies right now.
So now, is that part of the launch plan when a new franchisee launches?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very extensive Facebook marketing pre-launch plan. We've really figured out what works and what doesn't work. And that's really why people decide to, open a franchise, because they don't want to have to figure it out themselves. We've spent so much money on stuff that just didn't work. Old school marketing and advertising tactics that were a huge waste of money. But we're very good in the digital space, social media, Facebook advertising. We know how, franchisees can build a big list of people that want to know when they're open, and then, get the doors bursting on opening day.
Now, what's the demographic of the customer at one of the stores? Is it mostly young people or kind of moms, families?
So, yeah, it's actually families. It's families with kids, people who are in the town that, maybe they went out to dinner and they're looking for something for dessert afterward. Now, we're in a college town, and that's a plus. But by no means is our main demographic just college students. We, obviously have our most success with families with kids that, have that disposable income to go out and spend $30 on dessert.
But do you offer delivery? There's some, at least here in Atlanta, there's some delivery, hot cookie delivery services.
Yeah. We do offer delivery in our Westchester store through Grubhub and DoorDash primarily. That's our model, is to use the third-party delivery companies, also Uber Eats. But a franchisee, if they want to have a delivery person, they can absolutely do that. We just, kind of see the benefit in letting somebody else do the deliveries and have the labor, have the delivery drivers, and then just pay them a fee.
So now, how are you getting the word out regarding getting new franchisees? Is it hard to kind of differentiate yourself in a sea of, like you said, now you're not the only game in town anymore. Now there's several of them.
So luckily, we kind of are still the only game in town when it comes to franchising. There's a couple other options. They don't really focus on cookies. They don't really focus on ice cream. They just mainly do the cookie dough. But most of the cookie dough stores in the country are just mom and pops. So if someone wants to get into a really hot food trend right now, it's been pretty easy to get in touch with them and have them find us.
And then what's a good market? You mentioned college towns. Is that what you're looking for, to launch through college towns first?
No, actually we like growing suburbs of major cities. So example, Cary is a really, great suburb of Raleigh. People are flooding into there. There's lots of development going on, lots of people coming in. And also, obviously, major cities will always be, great because there's a ton of people walking around, tourists. No, but by no means do you need to be in a college town to successfully run a bake and have a good business.
If you're just now joining us, you're listening to Franchise Marketing Radio. Our guest today is Max Berry. He's the founder with Baked Cookies and Dough. Max, Stone Payton here. A couple of marketing questions. One, are you finding that some marketing media or tools are working better for you than others in terms of getting the word out about the franchise opportunity?
Yes, I can say that, in terms of franchise marketing and finding new franchisees, the key is to get in front of people that already are looking, right? So, for sure, you can run Facebook ads, you can run ads online for looking for people that might be interested in starting their own business. But the best type of people that we like to speak to are people that already are interested. They're already looking into franchises, into different concepts. We like that. We feel like we're very competitive in terms of other ice cream franchises, even, well-known ice cream franchises, just because we have more to offer than just ice cream. So, that's been our focus, is, connecting with people on, directory websites, on BizBuySell, that are already looking for, a franchise to open.
And are you far enough along yet in your expansion to begin to have a feel for what are going to be some of the best marketing vehicles for your franchisees in their local market, whether it be sponsoring local causes or direct mail or email or other forms of community involvement? Do you know yet what's going to shake out to be some of the best methods there for the local franchisee?
Absolutely. And I think that's where, I can kind of set us apart, whereas some older, albeit, well-known brands might encourage franchisees to spend money on things like direct mail or sponsorships and things like that. Those things are great, and those things are good branding, but the ROI is not immediate. We really have found that Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, social media is the way to go. You can get for very little money, you can get eyes on your brand, your store in your market through Facebook and Instagram. And when you compare it to things like direct mail, it's a no-brainer. So why put money in bucket A and bucket B when bucket A is cheaper and easier to scale? And, an eye is an eye, right? Do you know what I mean? When I say that?
Yeah. Right.
So now, Max, in your kind of entrepreneurial journey, how has the transition been from going, okay, I'm running this store, and I got this great idea that seems to be catching on, to now I'm running a franchise, which is kind of a different animal. That's its own business that's separate from running a baked store.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was fortunate in that, I knew very soon that I wanted to help people open a bake, train them, coach them on building a business, because that's what my background is. I'm an entrepreneur, and that's what I really like to do. So I was able to replace myself pretty early on through the use of a manager and staff that are well trained and systems in place. So yeah, I kind of transitioned to that fairly quickly, and because that's what I like to do. I like to help people build a business and be successful, and and change their lives.
And that was so that for you, the end in mind was to always franchise or to kind of replicate the concept.
Yeah, because, look, one store can make you a lot of money, and you can, as a franchisee, work in your store or even not work in your store and make, great money. But I feel like for me and for a lot of franchisees, they want to own multiple stores. They know that, okay, they're making X with one store. It's duplicatable. It's repeatable. Let's pop up 5 more and now multiply our income by 5. So, I have that thinking when it comes to business. So I knew early on that, to really grow this thing and be a nationwide brand, I was going to have to find franchisees that have that mindset of owning their own business and help them do that.
And then you've given them a path, like, okay, the way you do one store is this and that, and then you start looking for your second store when you hit these milestones, and then your manager of your first store becomes like you have a path for them to follow, kind of a recipe
absolutely.
for success.
We have a whole training on how to open a store, how to market it, how to grow it. And then everything is repeatable in franchising. And exactly, you can have a manager for your first store, and then that manager really can be running multiple stores. They don't need to be there at one store all the time, at least with a baked. Now, if you have a full service restaurant, that's a different story. Right. If you have, certain other dessert concepts that require a lot of staff to be there at any given time, you may need a manager for every single store. With Baked, that's not the case. Our manager at Baked is, not there 70% of the time, because, our employees can run the store without supervision. We have the systems in place to make that happen.
Now, how much time do you spend in like new recipes and kind of staying on top of the trends or the seasons with whatever is the appropriate ingredients?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're making new recipes all the time, and we're making new flavors. I mean, literally all around the clock, because we rotate in all kinds of recipes throughout the year. We always have our chocolate chip, our Oreo, our salted caramel, and our s'mores. But then the other flavors that we have, we rotate in seasonal flavors like pumpkin roll, apple pie, brown sugar maple, and then, flavors like Rice Krispie treat, brownie cheesecake. I mean, there's probably like 30 flavors that we have created that we rotate in from time to time to keep the customers interested in trying new things.
Now, is the franchisee able to kind of give some input of, hey, in our town, this ingredient is super popular and everybody loves it. Maybe this is something that should be on the roadmap going forward?
Yeah. So actually, I tell all my franchisees and everyone that we talk to that, I don't want, although the branding will be the same and the offerings will be very similar throughout all the stores, I don't want them to feel like this is just a McDonald's and they can never be creative. So I tell them if they want to come up with or have an idea for a flavor that's local to them, maybe in, Georgia, someone would have like a peach, cobbler flavor. We'll develop that for them and perfect it and make it taste great. And then we'll give them the recipe and they can make it and add it to their menu.
Good stuff. Well, it sounds like you got a lot of the big stuff covered. Congratulations on all your success.
Yeah, thank you. It's been going well.
Now, if somebody wanted to learn more about the opportunity, is there a franchise website? And maybe give both the kind of the regular person website and the potential franchisee website.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can always get a bunch of information from our corporate store site, our first location, bakedwc.com. That's BAKEDWC for Westchester. And on that page, there's a franchising link that'll take you to a page where you can learn more about the opportunity, about the concept, about what we're looking for in a franchisee, and obviously the average cost of a store, the liquid capital requirement, and some fees.
Good stuff. Well, Max, thank you so much for sharing your story today.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on.
All right, this is Lee Cantor for Stone Payton. We will see you all next time on Franchise Marketing Radio.